back. So now we are going to have a small uh, discussion on threading. There are several forms of event-driven programming. The first question at hand is, what happens to the flow of control once an event loop begins? In one model, the primary program seeds the flow of control to the event loop. Okay, so in what that means is event loop is going on. Once an event loop begins, the main program gives all the control to event loop. Another model uses what is known as multi-threaded programming. This allows the main program to continue executing even when the event loop is monitoring. So in other words, while the event loop is monitoring, maybe the main program can continue to work. That is, several threads of code can share. All right. This here are what I present here are very small examples of multi-threaded. I'm not using graphics, but I want you to see how multi-threaded codes can be written. Okay. I have this particular file, multi-threading examples, which I have uploaded in our shared Blackboard as well as Dropbox. There are very few examples here, so I will show you one at a time. So here is example one. Opening line says import threading. So it's a module you have to import. I have three different functions listed. So defined three functions. What does the first function do? For a number, for I in range, so this is iteration, I'm just printing I, okay, with a certain amount of space. The second function, so first function is called print range, second function is called print square range. For I in the same range, you are printing I squared. Third function is called print cube range. For the same range, you are printing cube of your number. All right. Now here is my main function. Those were just functions which I'm going to use here. Let's start with x equals 10. T1 is a thread from threading module. Okay. Its target. So target is the function that gets implemented in T1 thread. The arguments I am giving this guy, this function is just x, comma, and you close it. That is the format for a thread arguments. Okay. Likewise, T2 is another thread. So this is second thread, and its target function is square range. The second function arguments the same x with with a comma after it. T3, third thread, cube range. So far, none of those have been executed or none of those have been invoked. Start thread T1, start thread T2, start thread T3. So here they have started. Okay. Join, join, join. Okay. So this is when they get executed basically. Let's run this. You can see this is thread T1, this is thread T2, this is thread T3. Okay. So there are three threads, so three programs running simultaneously, basically. All right. Here is another example. Okay. Import threading, the same module. One function is print sum of two numbers. You are going to print the sum of number 1 and number 2. Okay, this is print formatting, if you remember, dot format. The second function says print difference, difference between num1 and num2. Third function is print product of three numbers, num1, num2, num3. Fourth function doesn't take any parameter. It simply says print I, that is 1 to 10, 9, it will print. Now when I run this, I'm going to use threading. Okay, I could have defined main function, but I'm just using code unit testing here. T1 be the first thread. The target function is, where did it go? Print the difference. Well, I would like sum first. So let's change this to sum. Change this to diff. Okay. T1 is print sum. That's my target function. Arguments, I'm giving it 10 and 20. T2, print difference, arguments 25, 35. T3, print product is the target function, is the third thread, arguments 3 numbers. Alright, because product required 3 numbers. T4, simply target function f, and I'm not giving it anything because f doesn't take any parameters. T1 dot start, that's when you have started thread 1. Here you start thread 2, T2 dot start. Now start thread 3, T3 dot start. Then say print this sentence. This print sentence should start before T4. Okay, maybe I'll give it some space. Okay, so let's understand what's going on with some space. Thread T1, thread 2, T2, T3. After T3, after starting T3, you're going to print something and then start T4. Okay. Now wait until T1 is completely executed. That's what T1 dot join means. So on. After T1, T2, T3 have joined, you want to print this sentence and then join T4. After all of them have joined, that is executed, you want to be able to print done. Okay, save, run. Let's see. First, did it calculate sum? Yes. Difference, product? Yes. And then T4, before starting T4, you want to print this sentence. We did. Now T4 will start. There you go. And this sentence will show after the first 3 are executed. Okay. Notice we are not claiming this will show after T4 or before T4. This is something depending on how busy your CPU is. Sometimes T4 will show up and then the print statement. Sometimes print will show up and then the T4. Done is at the end. Okay. The point is this print statement should show up after T1, T2, T3 because that's where it's written. Try repeatedly, you will see what I mean. Okay. Here again the print has shown after T4. Here that print has shown up before T4 begins. Okay. So this can happen based on how busy your CPU is. So I hope you have a feel for threading. We have one more example for you. Okay, so let's see. There are few functions. Task 1, it's going to print task 1 is assigned to thread and show thread that it is assigned to with the thread name. Give me the ID of the process. Okay, so ID of the process, you will need operating system, OS, so you're importing that as well. Task 2, similar print. Task 2 is assigned to thread. Which one? Threading, whichever we assign it to. So let's see an example. First, print ID of the process. os.get process ID, PID. That will give you ID of the process. Next, print main thread name. Okay, threading main name. All right. So these are just two print statements. Okay. First one is the ID of the process. You got the ID process. Then what is the main thread name? Okay, it is main underscore thread, invoke it, name. All right. Now, T1 is task 1. Name is T1. Okay, it doesn't take any arguments, so we didn't give it any arguments. T2 is task 2. Okay, so task 1 is assigned to thread T1. That's where the name T1. All right. And these two are different threads. They have started simultaneously. We did not finish, right? We did not execute either one. That's why they are standing next to each other, not one below the other, next to each other. And then you want to finish it, and this is also part of task 1. Okay, it is this task PID, that is process identification, right, is this. All right, and likewise this one. Now join, wait, and so this is below this, like you would think of threads. Okay, now threads are finished. Now we are back to main loop, and that's what this is. Okay, so next once we will go back. By the way, next exercise, what follows in our lecture notes are heavily dependent on CS1 graphics. So we will in turn look at TK Inter. Okay, until then.